Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Imaging USA Unpacked. We are so excited to have you join us today. We love getting to continue the conversation from Imaging USA. And today we get to chat a little bit with Mary Fisk-Taylor. Mary, thank you so much for joining us.
I'm so happy to be here. It's so fun to be here. And just happened that I was going to be here in Atlanta and I got to be here in person.
I know. I love that. I love that. It's so much fun to get to talk to you guys again. So Mary and I were sitting here, we were talking and we were just laughing about how we're still unpacking.
Literally.
From Imaging USA. Still doing the laundry.
Laundry still happening.
So we're right there with you. But really, it's about people getting to take what they learned at Imaging USA
exactly
and utilize.
Yeah, it's hard because most of us work by ourselves or maybe with a partner, and you go and we're just like, it's just like a fire hose of all this great stuff. I mean, great ideas and the trade show and all the vendors and all this stuff. And you're so hyped. And then you get home and then you have to literally unpack and do the laundry. And oh yeah, your kid, needs you to pack his lunch again or whatever it is. And all of that cool stuff just kind of tomorrow. And then what I always found through my years of going to imaging is that tomorrow never comes sometimes. So I love that you guys are doing this because hopefully what it'll do is it'll kind of make you go, yeah, you know what? That really was important. I'm gonna stop and actually make it a priority.
Yeah, and it's accountability, right? Yeah. It's really good when you have accountability partners, which we're at a distance, but we are still your accountability partners. We want to make sure that you guys are utilizing everything that you learn at Imaging USA. So do us a favor. Well, we're gonna say hello to some people. Hello, Andy and Ashley and Brenda. Let's see, David and Karen. Lots of you guys are on here.
I can't even read it. I'm like, hi, friends.
It's far away.
It's too far away. I can't read it.
Bye. But please go in here and go ahead and put in questions, right? And let us know what's going on with you in your world today, like whether or not. And I asked Mary if I could ask this ahead of time, if it has to do with her class or not. So Mary has a wide range of experience and knowledge. And so if there's something that you really need help in your business with today, just let us know. Put it in the questions. I'll be monitoring the questions over here. And we're happy to help in any way that we can. So just getting started, your program was very highly attended and lots of people, we had great responses to it.
It was fun.
So what was your one, do you have one big takeaway from your class?
Well, so, one of the things that I was really excited to share this year that I don't think I've ever, or haven't shared or talked about in a very long time is how important client referrals are. And now early on, and guys, listen, I mean, I act like I, used to use gunpowder when I took pictures. I'm not quite that old, but it has been 28 years, 3 decades. So we've done this for a while, and early on you would literally have a client and you'd maybe print a couple extra wallets and you go, hey, refer a friend, or when you're first starting out, and that went by the wayside through the years. And I'll be very frank, and I said this in my program last year around July, and it could have been too many Dave Matthews concerts. I could have maybe stayed home a little more. That might be part of my problem. But I was like, wow, we're not hitting our numbers. My goals we're not hitting what's happening. And I decided I thought, you know what? I'm so dialed into who my ideal client is, who that avatar is. I'm so dialed into that, which I think is so important. And I said, I was talking to one of those ideal clients and I literally said, I'm just so sad that we're going to install because that means I won't see you for a while and you're so perfect. I just need more of you. And she looked at me and she goes, I'll give you more. Yeah, here's my sister-in-law's number. Here's my neighbor. And I was like, why haven't I been doing this? So now every time that ideal, the person that comes in that they get it and they love what you do and they're investing in whatever your investment level is, I will say, you're my absolute favorite and I want more of you because they're all my favorite, right? They literally are. But in reality, it was just crazy because, and a couple of years ago when we had Phil M. Jones as part of our GAP track, and I love his books, and I think exactly what to say is it's like a little Bible to me. I reread it a lot. But one of the strongest things you can do is say, would you do me a favor? And I literally started, and Jamie and I every time with, hey, would you do me a favor? Do you know anybody else that might be interested in making sure that they don't miss out on those 18 summers, or is there someone that that would want this opportunity and who would really love what we do now? And I'm also not saying, but saying, and also are going to invest where you're going to invest with me. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not going to refer someone to me that maybe only wants maybe files or something. They're gonna have, that would find a different person, which is totally fine. That's not gonna be my business. But that, Angela, changed my whole year. My whole
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Something as simple as just asking, hey, do you know somebody who might want to do this too, or have this experience, or own a treasure, own art from us, whatever. And I don't know why we stopped doing it, but I'm telling you what, it's a
Yeah.
part of our, it's 100% part of our routine now. Like now there's some people I don't ask because I'm like, hey, thanks a lot, bye.
That happens.
It happens to all of us.
No, I think that's great. It's interesting. The very first question that came in from Robin. She said, biggest advice to get butts in seats.
Hey, Robin, love you. Robin, our good friend from Dallas. Yeah, butts in seat, asking. So, Robin, you have that ideal client who just think about it, guys. Think, okay, who is that person that I want more of? And ask, just ask, would you do me a favor? Do you know anybody else who,
Yeah.
and if your comfort level is not there, you can always say, hey, I'm working on XYZ project, or I'm updating my website, or, Jamie this year, he had a lot of success with a couple of his images and he wanted to do more like that.
Yeah.
And our clients were so proud of him and excited about his World Cup image or things like that. And he said, I want to photograph more, like this. I want to build this repertoire with because his image was with the piano. Do you know somebody else? And all of a sudden, all these people are like, yeah, my neighbor has a Steinway, and we got all these great things. But think of that ideal client and just ask. I mean, it's really that simple.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think it's easier for some people to ask than others. But for me, because I like to pay my bills, no problem at all. It's gonna ask, I'll ask away. But I mean, that's how we really filled our whole end of the year, like 5 months, and still working through those referrals. We're still working through it because what happens is they refer somebody and you get 2 or 3 in, and then you ask them, and then they send people. So, and they're pre-qualified. You're not having to mine.
That's huge.
You know what I'm saying?
Huge.
Because these people know. I'm sure that Suzanne is going to tell her sister-in-law it's not going to be cheap, but you're going to love it, and they're going to take great care of you. And we all have vendors in our life that way. Like if you need a good electrician or a good stylist or whatever, your friend's going to go, I love this person. Now it's going to cost you a little, but it's worth it. And I'm fine all day long for people to say that. Absolutely. All day long,
So I'm curious, and so we're getting in some other things here. Mary, what would you consider to be the first step in revamping your marketing plan?
Okay, so that's a great one.
From Lauren. Thanks, Lauren.
Thanks, Lauren. So that's a great question. So first of all, I'm very much follow the story brand concept. If you haven't read how to build a story brand, if you haven't read Donald Miller's book, highly recommend that. I think that for your website and for your marketing pieces are crucial. But at this point in the game, besides understanding story brand and making sure that that's happening, but taking some time, and there's a lot of good education, in my opinion, a lot of good education out there that I'm currently in a group doing a lot of AI marketing, and I'm tired. And I didn't want to learn anything new, but I don't want to quit yet. So I've got to learn it. But I feel like if you could dig into some of the AI marketing tools out there, and what I'm talking about are tools that are just truly, truly helping you identify that avatar, that perfect ideal client, and then how to reach them. Because we're just throwing all this great stuff out there, but if it's not getting the right person, what good is it doing? So what AI marketing is helping us do is it's helping us really pinpoint and target that perfect client. So understanding your ideal client and really nailing that down, the demographics, the zip, all the stuff, right? Social aspects, all those things, and then understanding just enough AI marketing to help you. Because I think a lot of photographers are kind of afraid. They're either completely infatuated or completely afraid of AI, but there's a lot of good in AI. And I think if you just take some time to invest in some AI marketing online tutorials and stuff, it just helps you narrow down and make sure your marketing's hitting the right place. So that's what I'm personally working on right now.
Well, so I just want to back up for a second for those who might be unfamiliar with just the concept of an ideal client.
Okay, that's great.
Well, I mean, we talk about it so often.
Yeah.
Right. But just for those who may not really understand how to go about finding that
Yeah.
ideal client? What does that look like?
So for me, and I wanted to make sure I was to identify that for me, it's a couple things. There's going to be the psychographics, like, and what I mean by that are where are they. For me, I know a lot of my clients are very philanthropic. What charities are they involved in? What are their kids in school? Outside of just certain zip codes, obviously for me being a family and children portrait photographer, kids in the home, these are little things, but identifying those things. And I think the easiest way here again to identify is when you get that perfect client in the door is find more of them. So even beyond like asking for referrals, if that's not where you are, or if that's not your comfort base, when we first started, I remember early on, I would get that perfect client and I would ask them a million questions and then shut up and listen. Because I wanted to know where their kids went to school. Were their kids in dance or soccer? Did they use a prenatal yoga instructor, or where they got their hair cut? Like those things, because I believe like-minded people use like-minded businesses. So I would identify if all of a sudden I kept hearing this fitness instructor's name, I'd be like, not only did I need the fitness instructor, but I need to know this person because I know. And then I would try to introduce myself. Hey, I'm a local business owner. We have this person and this client in common. Could we get coffee? I would love to talk to you because maybe we could partner. Maybe we could do something together because I bet you I have clients that you want and I bet you have clients that I want. And that really helped us early on, not only establish really great bonds with local businesses just like us, but ones that catered to the client that we wanted and vice versa. It was a win-win. It has to be a win-win. Like I'm just not going asking for all that. I want to give back. I want them to be successful too. So identifying that ideal client, but geography, I know what zip codes work for me if I'm going to do like actual mailings. I know which ones I'm not, and I also very much will limit income bracket is important for me only because of the investment, where my investment level is. There's just a certain level that it probably needs, a home value level. That's what I use. There's a home value level that I use to kind of I work in that bracket versus, just because I got to be really picky with my money, right? I only have so much marketing budget.
Absolutely. And the way you've branded your business,
it's true,
and your clientele, really speaks to that.
Yeah, and I think when you're starting out too, if you're, and I know it's hard, guys, and I really do, and I don't envy anybody going through it all right now because it's such a different space. But find a charity that maybe one of your clients is involved with and get involved in that charity. Like offer to go. I know one thing we did at one point, I knew the Heart Ball enrichment was really big deal. And I had one or two clients that sat on their board of trustees, and I wanted to get into the Heart Ball so bad because I knew if I could get in their swag bags, if I could get in there, that I would get clients from it. And I just called up and I said, hey, I love what you guys are doing, but what I would love to offer and gift you guys is just new headshots and a board of trustees portrait. Completely complimentary, because that way y'all have a nice cohesive look for your website and everyone can get a new headshot because you guys do so much. I don't know if they do or not, but of course I wanted to get, because I wanted to have face-to-face with them.
Yes.
And I don't just roll in there and give them a complimentary headshot. They all got a beautifully boxed gift card for what? A family portrait session, because now I want their family to come in, and it paid off. If I went in and photographed 15 people and gave them each a file for a new headshot and get a photo credit on their website for their board of trustees portrait, and 3 of them come in and have their family photographed, that's worth marketing. That's the best kind of marketing all day long.
Yeah, without a doubt.
So you have to be creative.
It's so interesting because one of the questions that I get often is, what do I do if I'm an introvert?
Yeah.
Right. And so I feel like a lot of the things you talk about are things where they can get out there and they can do these things, and they're purposeful and they're intentional. So whether you're an extrovert or an introvert, you still have an opportunity, right?
You absolutely do, because believe it or not, I am not an extrovert. I know, yeah, I really am not. I can be an extrovert because I'm an introvert. So I can charge up and I can do that. But like, I hear of people that go out and they're in B&I groups and they're out there and they're socializing. I would rather just rip my arm off and beat my own butt with it. That sounds awful to me. So I do not do well in that space, but one-on-one or engaging with a charity or engaging with a group or a like-minded business, I can do that all day long.
Yeah.
And it's not easy. And guys, it's not easy, but you just have to kind of put yourself out there. It's hard, but owning small business is hard. It's not easy.
It's not easy.
Not easy. It's not easy.
I know you talk about story brand a lot.
I do.
And I know that there's often questions for those who haven't read the book yet.
Correct.
But in order to encourage them to read the book, is there something that you would say it will help you do this?
Yeah. So the thing I love about StoryBrand, and this is completely free, you can go online to build a StoryBrand or storybrand.com. I will try to find it and post it somewhere at some point. But there's actually, if any of you guys remember when you were little, did you ever do Mad Libs? Like, you know, it's like a sheet and you just like put an adverb here and put a noun here.
Yes.
Well, there's like a sheet like that if you really sit down and think about it and give nice, concise, precise answers to exactly what Donald's telling you to do, you have built a script. And then you can take that script and use it and modify it and, you know, play with it, but it'll give you a script, so to speak, that I wrote mine several years ago now, and it gets changed here and there, but I have really, that's like a little tiny Bible in our studio. Every marketing piece, every social media piece, website copy, even conversations when I'm out talking to people at events, it's going to base around that one thing. And it's completely free. It's a free download. And if you make yourself do that and you really believe in it, it authentically comes from you, it's a huge game changer, I think. So that's where I would start. And again, this is everything I'm talking about, and I love this part, is completely free. None of this costs. This isn't great marketing ideas that cost anything but your time, which is very valuable, by the way, but it's using your time, I think, in a really great way. So that's my best tip on StoryBrand.
I feel like so often when, because we've worked together a long time. You share so much. You share so much in educating and I feel like the biggest takeaway I often, you know, when we talk about things is we don't want to just teach people to do a thing, but we want to teach them how to think about doing a thing. Right.
Right. And not all the things, because we don't need to do all the things. And I think that gets hard because people are like, well, I have to do. No, you really don't. Let's just start here. And I think it's figuring out what you want to do. I mean, because I don't think you have to do it all either. I'm not of that school of thought. And I don't know that maybe 20 years ago, I maybe felt a little differently, but I think in today's age, I think you can absolutely really niche in. I think you can specialize. So what do you want to do and what do you want to sell? So if you could figure those two things out, then you identify the people that you're going to attract to that. And then it builds from there. So it's like an onion, but all the layers. And I very rarely, because we're a small business as well, I very rarely do anything in my studio that's not going to have another layer to it. Meaning going into that charity and offering to do the headshots or the board of trustees and giving the family gift card and then following up. And, you know, like there's always another layer to it because everything I do has to really have a lot of punches. Like it has to really hit a couple more than once. Because you know, because there's just two of us, you know.
So do you think about that in touch points?
I do.
Is that how you kind of organize your client journey?
Absolutely. That's a great way to put it. And that's another great thing. Every client that comes in the door, I assume they're going to be my next $1 million client. And what I mean by that is, all right, we're on this journey together. Here we go. We're here at 3 months. You know what? I'm going to give you, do I have your permission to give you a call to make sure you don't miss 6 month or that you don't miss this heirloom, or we call them our milestones. You don't miss this milestone. Is it okay? Don't you worry about it. I'll make sure. But I am going to be on the phone every week contacting clients to make sure they're not going to miss that next milestone or moment or celebration. Or if I see online their daughter just got a roll in the Nutcracker, hey, can we get her in? I would love to, you know, I'm always looking for those opportunities. And again, that's free marketing, and it is marketing. And when it's all said and done, it's relationship marketing, it's partnership marketing, which is the easiest kind, I think.
Yeah.
But it does take time. You have to really be focused on making sure that you don't miss those milestones, or you set them first, and then that you don't miss them.
So I have a question for you on that. We have another question coming in, but I want to ask you this one so I don't forget what I was going to ask. So I feel like what I hear from photographers is often, it's almost like they're worried that they're going to be intrusive, or if they reach out to their customer that they're going to feel salesy, or that they don't value what they're doing. So they feel like it feels weird if they contact them out of context, or like, how do you help someone get over that fear?
I hear that a lot. Well, Okay, I hear that a lot, and there's a couple of things. First of all, if it's coming from an authentic place, which when I am calling you to make sure you don't miss that 3-year-old portrait or 5-year-old portrait or that family portrait before the oldest starts to high school, whatever my milestones are, I authentically believe in those milestones. I have them in my own home. I cherish them. So authenticity. And I know that's a big word and we throw it around a lot, but that is absolutely crucial to it. And the other part is, do you get mad at your dentist when he reminds you to get your teeth cleaned? Do you get mad? I mean, I love the fact that my
Yeah.
mechanic calls me to make sure that I bring my car in and get serviced. It takes something off my plate. And I think when you're giving it to them in that respect, that I don't want you to miss this, and I know you're so busy, it's my job to make sure you don't miss this, not yours. And I believe
Yeah, no,
that.
that's good.
So
That's
do
really
you
good.
get, I mean, I've never had my, mechanic call and say, hey, Mary, I was trying to get your car in, and go, hey, Larry, leave me alone.
Right.
Why are you calling me? I've never had that happen.
Right.
Like, I'm like, thank you. I wouldn't, I'd lose my head if it wasn't attached. Thank you so much. And it's like, I know, he's like, I know you're how busy you are, and I will make sure you miss it. Let me help you. What can I do? And I'm like, thank you.
So it's part of your customer care.
100%. And it is.
Yeah.
And I believe that. And I
Yeah.
think your client will too. I mean, if you believe in it, they'll believe in it because they like you. They
Yeah.
chose you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good. Such a good reminder
It is.
for us too. So there's a couple questions coming in. Elena wants to know, do you budget time for self-development? And if so, what are some of the things that you're doing this year?
Yeah, absolutely.
So tell me about that.
I do. Maybe too much. I've raised my kiddos. I couldn't be prouder. My husband and I high five each other all the time. We're like, they're decent human beings. They're not complete buttholes. Like we're just doing good. But I'm very protective of boundaries and that time. So that's very important to me. I love live music. I spend a lot of time going to live music. I've got friends all over the world because of it. That's very precious to me. But as far as self-development, like I mentioned, I went through and immediately became a story brand guide because I believed in it so much. Went down, spent 2 weeks with Owen Miller. I went through All Profit First with Mike McAllowitz because I believe in that so much. Right now, I'm in a really intensive program with someone learning about AI marketing and Google placement and all of that. And I'm going to Chicago in 2 months, and I'll spend a week with a small group of business owners learning about that. So, and I did the same thing a couple years ago when funnel marketing became a big deal. I was one of the very early adapters. I went on and I went and spent a week and I learned and it's always changing. So you're relearning, but and I have college degrees. I've got all the stuff, but it's changing so fast that every year I make a goal, and my goal this year is the AI marketing piece. Like I hope next year, like I go, hey Angela, I've got a great new program for you. I'm bringing it to AI USA, AI marketing for small businesses, creative small businesses. But
yes, we'll say yes.
But that's what I've been working on, and I am protective of my time. I'm there's not a photo emergency that I have to be at someone's beck and call. So if you want to invest in me, and what I mean by that, if you commission me and we're going to go through that together, 100%, we're going to go through that together, and you're going to get some prime time. If you're coming in because of a model call or something, gift card you got, which we do, by the way, you can come Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday between 10 and 3. Like I'm not going to come in the weekends. I'm not going to come in the evenings because it's a different investment level. So we were very good about separating that out. And Jamie Hayes is my business partner, not my husband. I actually have a husband. It's not Jamie Hayes. But I'm very protective of my time, and I don't feel bad about it at all.
A great husband. She has a great husband.
I do have a great husband. He's put up with me for 30 years.
So in there, one of the things I think is important to encourage people is that accountability piece, right? And so having accountability partners, or having if you're just getting started, would you give advice for how to find people that
absolutely? I mean, so early on for us, joining our state association was big. I mean, we have regions, and we had a little tiny mentor group, and then obviously being a part of PPA, there are spaces where you can find people and create your own mastermind type groups, or what have you. I definitely have one. I lean into them a lot. We hold each other accountable all the time. But finding those people, something like go to, whether it's East Coast school or Texas school or go to like one of those type of one of the affiliate schools. I don't know if we call them affiliates anymore. I feel like forgetting community partner schools, community network schools. But go to one of those and find your people, and you know who your people are. Like I'm not for everybody. I get it, but you know who your people are. And the cool thing is that we've taught for several years, and we call it the aquarium. I mean, there's just a couple hundred people, and they're online. We're in a group, and they're constantly challenging each other or asking questions or that stuff. So it's easier now than ever, I think, to have an accountability group. And if nothing else, write it down and mark it off. Meaning, if you want to hit this, this average, or you want to learn something, write it down so that you have to look at it every day. And when you get to mark it off the list and hold yourself, like, be proud of yourself. Yeah, that's a huge part too. Huge. Yeah. It's for me anyway.
Yeah, I love that. I love it. I mean, I think so much of what we do is really about community.
Yeah.
And I think it's so hard to leave imaging, go home, be by yourself.
Yeah.
And then make all of these changes.
Yeah. No, it is.
So that's a big part of it, is just community building, I think, being at imaging.
Oh, I agree. I mean, imaging, and I think now more than ever, there's so many opportunities in imaging. You just go to lunch and all of a sudden you leave with 5 new best friends, and now you're holding each other accountable, or you meet somebody in a class. And I think that it's a lot. It's easier than it's ever been to actually do that. It's just doing it in the follow through. And again, if you are that introvert and that's the hard part, just try. Just try, just build up, charge up and just give it a try. I've never had someone come up to me and say, hey, I'd love to have lunch, or could we sit and talk, and me like yell at them to go away or something. Like that just doesn't happen. Like we're all humans, we're all going through the same struggles, and we all appreciate feedback. And that accountability person. I'm lucky I have a podcast with Kira Derryberry, so we hold each other accountable every week, and essentially it's just our podcast that we talk about it, and share. And we have a really lively Facebook group. Join the Facebook group and ask questions. There's a really cool group on there. Talking about asking questions all the time. And
do you want to tell them the name of your
so they can shameless plug for my free podcast. Get your shoot together. Get your shoot together. Yeah, we have fun.
I love
not for everybody, but it's fun.
Yeah, but it's so good. It's just so good to talk about the things that happened, and it's so nice to hear like, oh, it's not just me.
Yeah, because it's real time. If we're talking about it, it happened in the studio probably that day or the day before. Like, because we're in. I love the Brene Brown. I don't want to hear from you if you're not in the arena getting your butt kicked. Don't talk to me. Like, but if we're in that space. All right, now I want to hear what you have to say. Like, it gives it, you know what I mean? It's easy to, but you show me, you be in there doing it every day and trying to get clients in the door. I was just talking with a friend, local photographer in Richmond, amazing senior portrait photographer in Richmond. And she's like, okay, I need February just to get on the back, because the year's, it's rough. And and I'm saying it's rough, it's that time of year, and it's like, it's hard, and this is when you start worrying. But it always works out. But, so it was good that her and I could both say, she goes, so it's not just me. I'm like, no, it's not just you. And just hearing that felt good. It just lifted something off, just to have her acknowledge that, it's been slow so far this year. It felt so good for somebody else to say that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it has been. Anybody else need to hear it? It's been slow this year. It's been a little bit of a rocky start, but the sun's shining, and I can already feel the turn, But it's been a little barren.
Spring is on the way.
It's happening.
I feel like we feel like that every January.
We do. I mean, Jamie's like, my husband's the same way. I was like, but every year he's like, I hate January. I'm like, you can't hate. He goes, no, I hate you in January. Because all you do is like, well, we're just going to go to the port, sell the house, you want me to sell my car? Should we downsize? He's like, it's going to be fine, Mary, just calm down.
Every year.
It's just like every year when school goes back, the phones, the phone doesn't hard to ring anymore anyway, but the people are just too busy getting into school. And so every year, Labor Day, I'm like, well, pack it up, shut the doors. We're going to the poorhouse. Sorry, kids. And he's like, Mary, every year for 2 weeks, it's dead because people are going back to school.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I know, but I just still like to about it.
Just want to I feel like if I worry about it, then I'm on top of it.
Yeah, because that's healthy. That's healthy. It's good.
I love that entrepreneurial terror.
Yeah, I make all the mistakes. I can tell you what not to do. I can tell you don't do that.
We're gonna teach that class someday.
What not to do. Don't do this. That sounds like I would come to that class.
Yeah,
That's
it'd
a
be
good
good.
one.
It'd be good.
What do
Learn
you guys
from all
think?
these.
I think everybody would be like, yes, sign me up.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so great. All right, so I think we're closing in on our time. I can't actually tell what time it is.
I can't see a thing. And I have on glasses. Hold on. I got on the watch.
Mess.
2:30.
It's 2:30. So
I'm like,
thank
how
you
can I
guys.
tell time? Where is there something? Oh, maybe this on my wrist. Wow, y'all even
joy.
tuned in.
Oh, the joy.
They're never gonna ask me that. Remember Mary? You couldn't even tell time? You
It's
remember her?
good. It's so good.
It's awesome.
You guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Love continuing this conversation with you. I hope you can join us next Monday at 2, where we will continue the conversation as well. Always come with your questions. We're excited to help in any way we can. And we'll see you next week. Mary, thanks again.
Guys. Thanks for having me. It's been fun. Love you guys. Yeah, right there on the watch.